Okay, so we finished the first module. We will take a quick look on the next module, impact on stakeholders, benchmarking, performance measure, and financial measures. Impact on stakeholders describes the impact Six Sigma project can have on customers, suppliers, and other stakeholders. So you have external and internal customers. External customers are the person or organization that receives a product, service, or information but is not part of the organization supplying it. In some organization or some industries, your direct customer is not your end customer. So you have two levels of customers. Anyone have example on organization or industry have two levels of customers? Yeah, okay. So let me describe to you external customers for if we are talking about an automotive company like Ford, for example, they have a direct customer who is a car dealer. The dealer is the one who pays to the company, who pays to this organization. But in fact, this is not the end customer. This is called the direct customer. But the end customer or the real customer is the user, the one who is using the product, not the one who is selling the product. Get the point? I've done a project before with a bank in Egypt. It's called the Central Bank. This central bank is bank for banks. The direct customer for this bank is the banks, and then there is the end customer who is the individuals. So you don't be confused at the end when you are talking about customers. You are not here to take care of your retailer or your direct customer. You mostly need to listen to your end customer. Then you have the internal customer. The internal customer is the recipient or the person or department within an organization or of another person's or department's out. So the one who is or the next step after you are doing your work and then somebody continues after you finish. So this other department or other person is your internal customer. Then we have the stakeholders. Stakeholder is any individual group or organization that will have a significant impact on or will be significantly impacted by the quality of specific product or service. So almost stakeholder is anybody around your organization. Then you have the suppliers, any source of material, service, or information input provided to a process. Again, if next step after you is your customer, is your internal customer, so the processor or the step before you is your supplier. Or if we are talking about external supplier, can be anybody, even supplier can be an employee, a contractor that provides you with employees. Project impact to stakeholders. Six Sigma projects can have significant impact to stakeholders. In general, you need to identify stakeholders, understand stakeholders' requirement, understand impact that project will have appropriate communication with stakeholders. So this requirement, if we are talking about ISO, for example, there is a requirement in ISO 9001 called understanding interested parties and their need. It's typically what stakeholder analysis is. Okay. Then we have benchmarking. Define and distinguish between various types of benchmarking like best practices, competitive, collaborative, breakthrough, select measures, and performance goals for projects resulting from benchmarking activities. Benchmarking is a technique in which a company measures its performance against that of the best-in-class companies, determines how those companies achieved their performance level, and uses information to improve its own performance. Subjects that can benchmark include strategies, operations, and processes. So what is benchmarking? If you see here, benchmarking, you're talking about the best practice. You can find it some ways called GMP. Other kind of benchmarking, I believe, is this ISO implementation. So what again, as I described to you, what the ISO organization do is mainly giving you the best practice to do in quality management or in environmental management or in safety management, whatever the standard you are complying with. So this is benchmarking with an international standard. Okay, many times I advise of doing benchmarking instead of starting with Six Sigma projects. A company starting this company is starting or starting a new branch somewhere else in the world, so they do want to make Six Sigma project to create their own system. So somebody who have a general knowledge of Six Sigma, they ask me, we want to do DMADV Six Sigma project to start this new branch or new company. My advice, there is no need to do this Six Sigma project. As I said before, it takes long time. It needs allocation of resources, while we can start by benchmarking. Let's benchmark with an existing company and start improving from there. I believe one of the things where China became one of the top exporters in the world in few years is just they changed the definition of R&D, the research and development, and they made a new concept which they called C&D, copy and develop. They don't do research anymore. They do researches after copying. They copy what you already have and start developing from there. You don't need to invent the wheel every time you are going to make a bicycle. You know everything is required. You just make the bicycle. If you want to be top of your class, so you make the bicycle you know and you improve this bicycle, but not every time you are going to prove that you want a wheel, not putting shoes on these wheels instead of these tires. Correct? We have two types of benchmarking: internal benchmarking and external benchmarking. You can benchmark a department with another department. You can benchmark a process with another process. You don't have to do external benchmarking with another industry or another company. So the steps of benchmarking: analyze the operation, know the competition, incorporate the best of the best, and gain superiority. To analyze the operation, select topic for benchmarking, estimate the cost of the study, make a decision to continue, select and train the benchmark team, select the key metrics, select the survey type, develop questions, develop data collection devices, test data analyze methods, perform a self-analysis. Then know the competition, identify companies and contacts, collect public domain data, analyze public domain data, formulate benchmark plan, conduct benchmark study, analyze information and data. Then incorporate the best of the best, conduct gap analysis, develop recommendation, develop implementation plan, identify support department, present plan to management, present plans to support department, implement and monitor progress, and replicate. Then we have types of benchmarking, 5 types of benchmarking: the function benchmarking, generic benchmarking, internal benchmarking, process benchmarking, and strategic benchmarking. Let's continue on performance measuring. Define, describe, balanced scorecard, key performance indicators, the KPIs, customer loyalty metrics, and leading and lagging indicators. Explain how to create line of sight from performance measures to organizational strategies. So what you see in front of you is a sample of a scorecard. So financial, the perspective of your shareholders, the customer, what your customer experience and perceive, business process, the key process you use to meet and exceed customer and shareholder requirements, learning and growth, how you foster ongoing change and continuous improvement. So look at this scorecard. Maybe you have seen something like this at work. KPIs, the key performance indicator. A key performance indicator is a statistical measure of how well an organization is doing in a particular area. A KPI could measure a company's financial performance or how it is holding up against customer requirements. Customer loyalty is a term used to describe customer behavior. Loyal customers tend to be highly satisfied, repeat buyers who offer product recommendations. Satisfied customers are not necessarily loyal. However, as well as customers who are tolerant are not necessarily loyal. So loyalty doesn't equal satisfaction and not doesn't equal tolerant customer. Some examples of companies who have successfully maintained customers' loyalty: Toyota, Harley Davidson, and Apple. So you see that Harley Davidson is now like an icon of one model of bikes. So even in anywhere, anybody riding the same type of bike, even if it's not Harley Davidson, they call it Harley. We can give many other examples. I believe one of the top examples I've seen is Samsung when the crisis of the Note 7 happened. Samsung managed this crisis very well. I'm personally received like hundreds of emails from Samsung apologizing about the problem, uh, showing us how they detected this problem and how they managed it, how they are now testing their batteries, how the phone batteries are now made by Samsung before it was supplied by suppliers. Uh, Personally, I've seen in every airport I visited a booth for Samsung where you just when you are going to fly, you give them your Note 7 and they replace it with a phone immediately, with a new phone immediately. So they managed it very well that most of the customers returned to Samsung again even after something like this crisis. Then let's discuss something like leading versus lagging metrics. So y equal function of x's. So here what you see is SIPOC. This is a SIPOC diagram. So what you see in the output, this is the lagging metrics, and what you see in the input, this is the leading metrics. Financial measures define and use the revenue growth, market share, margin, net present value, return on investment, the ROI, and cost benefit analysis, the CBA, explains the difference between hard cost measures from profit and loss statement and soft cost benefits of cost avoidance and reduction. For all financial calculation, it is recommended that you consult your finance department. Each organization may have different preferences for which metrics it uses and how metrics is calculated, for example, on gross or net figures. Benefit analysis is a comparison of benefits of a given project or investment versus the costs. So generic steps of the benefit analysis: identify associated costs, identify the revenue saving benefits, map out the timeline of for expected costs and benefits, evaluate the ROI, NPV, payback period, etc. Revenue growth is the increase in revenue expected. It can be stated as absolute number or as a percent. It is typically stated in dollar a year or percentage a year. Example: annual sales for companies. Company's product are $1.5 million. The company conducts a project that increases annual sales to $2 million. Revenue growth is the 2 million minus the 1.5 million equal 0.5 million. Revenue growth rate: 0.5 million over 1.5 multiplied by 100. It's 33.33. Exercise: a small business has annual revenue of 55 for a given service it provides. A change is initiated. New annual revenues are 65. So calculate the revenue growth and calculate the rate. It's almost 18%. Okay, market share. What is market share? Market share is the proportion of the total sales of a product secured by one particular company or brand. Example: for a given product, sales are 5 million. It is estimated the total market for all companies for this product is 75 million. So the market share is 5 million over 75 multiplied by 100, it's 6.7%. Okay, calculate the example you have here. A given community of 3,100 has three main competitors for ice cream. It estimated via survey that the average each person spends $25 a year on cones, shakes, malts, etc. One business had sales of $4 million. What was the company's market share? Calculated. Let's move to the next slide. Profit margin is percentage of every sales in dollar that makes it to the bottom line. It is sometimes called return on sales, ROS. Profit margin equal net income over net sales multiplied by 100. So example, in an organization has 5 million in sales and net income of 0.5 million. Profit margin equal 0.5 over 5 million multiplied by 100. So it's 10%. Okay, calculate the exercise. Income after operating expenses, interest expenses, and taxes is 90K dollars. Sales were 1.1 million, but had 25,000 in returns. What was the profit margin? Okay, if you if you go in the beginning, take out the 25% from the 90%, it gives you 65%, then over 1.1 million, then multiply by 100. This gives you the answer, right? Then we move to the net present value. Net present value is NPV. Net present value is the current value of an amount to be received in the future. By the way, net present value is commonly comes in exams. So you see the equation where A is amount to be received in n years, number of years from now. NPV is the net present value. I is the annual interest rate. So there is an example. 2,000 will be available in 2 years. What is the net present worth of the money if the interest rate is 2%? So 2%, this is I, and we have the 2,000 is A. So what? And 2 years is N. So we see here, this is A over 1 minus I over N equal, okay? So this is the net present value. Consider project that predicted to return 100,000 of a lump sum 3 years from now, and that has 10% cost of capital. What is the answer? Select one answer from those. Okay, you see the answer down here. It's answer number 3, 75%. So we are not going to do homework. I know you're busy for this, but let's look at this example. A project has cash flow shown below and has a required rate of return 20%. What is the net present value? You remember this net present value? And would likely is this project to get approved? Answer it and give me your answer. If you see here, you see down there here, you can see. Okay, you see the answers. Let's not consume more time because our time is already very tight. So we move to the ROI, the return on investment. ROI is the ratio comparing expected income to expected cost. It is most often expressed as a percentage. So ROI is income over cost multiplied by 100. So here you have an example. A project is expected to generate 250K savings between the team's time. The DOE material is expected to cost 50K. ROI is 250 over 50K multiplied by 100. So ROI is 500. Then we have the payback period is the length of time it takes for the cash inflows, financial benefits to equal the cash outflows, the cost over investment. So payback period equal investment over financial benefit. So in this example, a company will be investing 1 million in a new machine. This machine should generate 50K in monthly savings. Payback period equals a million over 50,000. So the payback period is 20 months. Take this exercise. A company requires 6 months payback on projects due to cash flow issues. In addition, the company likes to have projects generate at least 100,000 in annual savings. If the project will save the minimum, how much investment will be allowed? So calculate this one.
$50,000.
Any other answers?
Oh, that's annual savings. Oops. Yeah, I got 50,000 as well.
Anyone else?
I agree.
Same thing.
So investment maximum would be 50,000. Hard cost saving. The hard cost savings is a related reducing the unit cost, reduction in transaction cost, lower overhead costs, lower head count, or increased throughput, resulting in increased revenue. Soft cost savings are the related to this area that reduce costs through cost avoidance, or those where benefits will not be reflected in reduction of a budget amount. Now we finished this module. So the next module will be about the team formation. Again, these parts are mostly what we are doing now is mostly project management. The black belt or Six Sigma black belt should be on the same level of the PMP certified person. We study project management mostly as much as PMP professionals study. If we are taking the course without this part, you will not be able to manage projects. Correct? You think so? As a black belt, you are required to manage projects. So that's why I feel that there is a necessity to study project management. Okay, so in this module we have four studies, or we have 4 chapters. First one is the team formation, team types and constraints. So here we will define and describe various teams, including virtual, cross-functional, self-directed, determine what team types will work best for a given set of constraints, geography, technology availability, staff schedules, or time zones. So we have mainly 6 types of team. These are the main 6 types of team: formal teams, informal teams, virtual teams, process improvement teams, cross-functional teams, and self-directed teams. The ad hoc or informal team includes members selected to meet specific short-term goals, has charter including a list of team members, has local management support, and they disband after assignment is completed. Formal team includes members selected to meet specific generalized longer-term organization goals, has a charter including a list of team members, has high-level management support, and disband after assignment is completed. The virtual team is like what we are doing now, includes members from different geographical locations. Some members may never meet, conduct business through teleconferences or live meetings, emails, etc. Is used when experts are geographically separated. Process improvement team has members who may be cross-functional and often come from different departments. Focuses on breakthrough process improvement to reduce either defects, cost, or cycle time. They are guided by the negotiated charter, included a well-defined project plan. They disband when objective is met or it is determined that objective cannot be met. Self-directed team has a leader selected by team members, interfaces with other self-directed teams, has ongoing mission involving day-to-day operations, has a range of responsibilities, for example, allocation of assignment or goal settings, conflict resolution, and performance evaluation. Then the cross-functional team, which is the best, includes members who are subject matter experts, SMEs, from different functional areas or departments of the organization. includes members who are knowledgeable about their areas, policies, procedures, and operations. Members should join the project at its inception, works on a project for its duration, maybe part-time, provide solutions that are usually technically superior and may readily implemented. And cross-functional team can be a virtual team. So a company has just merged with company B. The new company formed through the merger would like to follow one set of procedure, policies, and instructions. The team needs to decide upon harmonized set of policies, procedure, and instruction. Which of the following would be the best team structure to assure success? Improvement, self-directed, cross-functional, or improvement?
Isn't cross-functional just like
Which one?
always inherently better than all the rest?
Yeah, but again, when we come back here to the definitions, see process improvement team, what they focus on. So process improvement team may be cross-functional, often come from different departments and focus on breakthrough process improvement to reduce defects cost, okay, and or cycle time. So if you look here, what they are required to do, decide upon a harmonized set of policies, procedure, and instructions. So, but in our choices, we don't have process improvement team. No, we have process improvement team, which is A, right? So process improvement team can cover both the cross-functional and the improvement, correct?
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Well, just coming. I mean, so the question
The
says
direct answer here is cross-functional, but I mean process improvement team can cover both, can cover cross-functional and these areas.
I
But
understand.
the best answer is the cross-functional. Okay. Then the team formation, team rules define and describe various team roles and responsibilities for leader, facilitator, coach, individual members. So the team roles are sponsor, coach, facilitator, team leader, and team member. The team leader is chairs meetings, communicates project status to management, track completion of milestones, manages administrative documentation and record keeping, identifies action items and tracks action items to completion by team members and sub teams. He may be the sponsor. It doesn't have to be the sponsor. He may be the sponsor. He identifies projects, sets goals, and determines scope, identifies team's members, provides support to the team, including training, resources, logistics, etc., monitors progress through communication with team leader, communicates team results to the organization. Facilitator obtains input from all participants, keeps meeting on track, identifies approach or methodology, manages and resolves conflicts, summarize progress and communication project status into team leader, coaches, assists with moving team toward meeting objectives, provide resources for team members to complete their action. Team member participate in training, attend meetings, complete action items assigned, actively participate by contributing their expertise, encourage other team members' participation, assists with implementing solution in their area of work. So facilitator and team members, this is usually the green belts, okay? So which person usually conduct training for the team or brainstorming and problem solving tools? The facilitator, the sponsor, leader, or champion?
Facilitator.
Any other answer? See the answer? Facilitator. Then we come to the team formation. Team members selection criteria describe various factors that influence the selection of team members, including one's ability to influence, openness to change, command for required skills sets, subject matter expertise, and availability. So teams should be cross-functional, that is represent all disciplines involved in a process. Usually have 5 to 7 members. Team members may represent supplier, processor, or customer. Must have expertise and technical knowledge about their operational area. Subject matter experts may be brought in as needed, but they must attend the first team meeting. So subject matter expert doesn't have to be a part of the team. It can be a consultant for the team, but must attend the meeting, the first meeting. Okay, team success factor. Identify, describe the elements necessary for successful teams. We have team is ready to launch when it has a negotiated charter, clearly defined goals and objectives linked to the project charter, management support, which is critical to the long-term success of the team, sponsor or process owner who is interested in the outcome, team members who are available to attend scheduled meetings, access to resources like time, talent, money, and material, access to data, information from all areas needed for the project. Launching teams. In a launching team, an organization will want to provide training on how teams function, outline financial conditions, organizational changes, and market conditions that may impact the project. Establish meeting ground rules in regard to member behavior, start and end meeting and end times, time-phased agenda, use of parking lots, response to assigned action items, time to set next agenda, time to evaluate meeting, availability of published minutes, and allow adequate time to complete assigned action items. So what is the first question that team members should be asking when established a team? What are the goals of this project? Or what is the final solution? Or when are the interim tasks to be completed? Or what type of control charts will be used to analyze in the data?
What are the goals?
Yeah, I think it would either be A or C, depending on. Yeah, what are the goals? I'll stick with A.
Yeah. So it is what are the goals if we are going to look again at the answers. So what are the final solutions? This comes at the end of the analyzed phase, right? Interim tasks will be after the charter, after the project charter. What type of control charts? We will not know this until we finish the improve phase, right? Then team facilitation, motivation techniques, describe and apply techniques to motivate team members, identify factors that can demotivate team members, and describe techniques to overcome them. So what you see here is called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Start with the physiological needs, security and safety, social, self-esteem, and self-actualization. There is another way called Herzberg's hierarchy of needs as well. Is performed studies that Herzberg has performed studies that concluded motivation factors could be classified into two categories: satisfiers and dissatisfiers. However, most of the companies prefer to stick with Maslow's hierarchy. Do you know what is being used in your organization, or you don't have this? Anybody have an idea what you use in your company? Usually, most of the organization use the Maslow's hierarchy. The only area I have experienced using the Herzberg is army and military and navy and these things. So in most of the organizations, they don't use satisfiers and dissatisfiers. Recognition and rewards. Recognition provides positive reinforcement for good performance. Rewards are intangible and material items. Intangible items do satisfaction, like satisfaction, prestige, appreciation, friendship, and learning experiences. Material items of incidental value, like trophy, plaque, letter of appreciation, etc. Material items of significant value, like cash gift, vacation time, bonus, profit sharing, etc. You have anything to share about something like this?
Mostly intangible.
Like what?
Satisfaction for your job, learning, Maybe some material stuff like cash. Well, it wouldn't be cash, gift cards, or awards.
Anybody else? Team relation, team members with respect, acknowledge each other's expertise, be open and willing to learn from one another, do not criticize or judge, celebrate when milestones are accomplished. Team stages of development. This is one of the recurring questions in almost all the ASQ exam. So identifies and describe the classic stage of team development: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. This is, by the way, this is the new or the last updated way. Before was usually giving only 4 stages: the forming, storming, norming, and performing. And lately it was updated to add the adjourning stage. So informing stage is when members are proud to be selected, members are anxious, team has new team experience, team structures forms. Storming is when members show individualistic thinking, team feels tug of external loyalties, attitudes fluctuate, confrontation arise, team's task sinks in. In norming, team coalesces, cooperation grows, team shows willingness to dialogue, conflict reduce, focus is on team objective. In performing, team has matured, team become a smooth cohesive unit, focus is on process, team has feelings of satisfaction, goals are achieved. In the adjourning, final team meeting is held, management decision regarding project are discussed, team contribution is acknowledged, and team disbands. The team S curve, team productivity over time. You see the productivity increase over time and then goes with the adjourning. So the questions you see now almost come, at least one of them come in every ASQ exam. Select the team stage that matches the behavior, either forming, storming, norming, performing, or adjourning. A team member takes control of the meeting. So which stage is this?
I would say storming.
Let's go to the next one. Members show good communication with and support of each other. Which one
Norming.
is this?
Forming.
So you think it's norming or what?
Forming.
Norming. It should be norming.
Okay, we will say norming. Anybody else? I believe we can say norming or performing, but forming is very far from good communication between team members. Team member is anxious about his role. So which stage is this?
Forming.
Anybody has another answer? There is a confidence about achieving the task. So what stage is this?
I would say performing.
Anybody else? Nobody would say adjourning?
Adjourning.
I mean, isn't that like once they've already completed the task? Or no?
Yeah, confidence about achieving. So first one is storming, then here is performing, forming, and the last one is norming, which I don't know how the last one is forming.
I mean, the norming and performing, I feel like could just be interchangeable depending on, the details. So.
Okay, process check. What is the normal length of progression through stages as the team grows? The team spends long time in forming, then quickly progress through storming and alternates between norming and performing. The team moves quickly through the forming to storming and norming and then achieves the remains in the performing stage. The pattern for each team is different through the 4 stages of team growth. The team moves quickly from forming and storming to norming and only rarely achieves the full performing stage. So which answer?
C.
Yeah, I would say probably C. But best case scenario would be B, right?
I'm gonna go between either B or C.
I was gonna say C.
Okay, the right answer is C. Then we will have the team communication. Describe and explain the elements of an effective communication plan. For example, the audience identification, message type, medium, and frequency. So team initiation, goals and objectives of the project should be clearly stated in the charter. Scope of the project, paramount to prevent scope creep. Member roles, black belt, team members, subject matter experts, scribe, and other roles appointed by the team leader. Communicate team norms, for example, frequency of team meetings, communication plan, decision-making process, escalation process. When the project is completed, the team leader produces a final report. The team members receive a copy of this final report. The team members celebrate their achievement. The final report should contain executive summary. It's always been called executive summary. Background on project. The project's problem statement. Objective of the project. A project has only one objective, which will be some variant of reducing defects or cost or cycle time. Findings of the project's work, conclusion, recommendation, and action taken by the process owner, and learnings or lessons learned, things that will help when the solution is rolled out. So here you see an example of communication plan. Have a look at it. Okay, any question on this example?
When would you use something like this? Just every time, every project you're a part of, before you start developing the communication plan, you do one of these or something?
This is a communication plan itself. This is a sample of communication plan. Communication plan is typically larger than this one, but here the deliverable, when we have project overview updates, who you will send to everybody, frequency, start of the project, and periodically throughout. Methods will be through functional area meetings. Responsible is the team leader. So each step of the project, you say what is the deliverable, who are the audience, the frequency, when you are going to send this or communicate this, methods and responsibles of this stuff. Got it? So this is for each project. You are going at the beginning of the project, you are going to do your communication plan, most probably in the define phase. Okay?
Okay.
So it is time to bring closure to a team project when the following happens: management changes, or when conflicts occur among team members, or incremental progress has been made but more improvement requires breakthrough efforts, or the current budget cycle is completed. So when do you close the team project?
I would say C.
Any other answer?
Same C.
So it's C. So in team facilitation, team leadership model, describe and select appropriate leadership approaches like direct, coach, support, delegate to ensure team success. So what you have here is situational leadership model where development level of individual. So it's D1, D2, D3, D4 is when note that this model is task specific, and D1 is good leaders meet you where you are. So leadership style, the S1 is where the leader acknowledges participant enthusiasm while teaching and showing how, gives examples and sets up very clear goals, timelines, priorities, roles, limits, and boundaries. So this is the start of the leadership. Then S2 is where the leader encourages individuals through frequent feedback and praise to build confidence, listens to individual concerns and ideas, but ultimately makes the final decision. Stage 3, the leader encourages the individual to take the lead in goal setting, action planning, and problem solving. He or she provides support, reassurance, encouragement, and praise acknowledge competence and build commitment. S4 is the leader expects the individual to take charge and keep others informed. Trust the individual's judgment. Okay, so which one of these leadership styles are the best? You cannot say one of them is the best. Its levels comes upon a team's development. Okay? Development level characteristics are summarized below. Enthusiastic beginner, so member is new to the task or goal, and inexperienced, she is eager or he is eager to learn and willing to take direction but doesn't know what she or he doesn't know. She or he may do the wrong thing. D2 is disillusioned learner, member who has some knowledge and skills but is not competent yet, discouraged, overwhelmed, confused, frustrated, and may be ready to quit. He or she is developing and learning but needs reassurance that mistakes are part of the learning process. D3 is when the team member is capable but cautious performer. So member is sometimes hesitant, unsure, and tentative. She or he is not always confident, self-critical, and may need help looking at skills objectively but makes productive contribution. D4 is self-reliant achiever. Member is recognized by others as an expert, has he is or she is inspires other, protective, and may be asked to do too much. He or she is constantly and justifiably confident. Clear so far? So the S stage depend on the D stage. There is another model, they call it the GE model. So depends on the willingness and capability. So if this is a plus and minus. So if your employee is not capable and not willing, so this was the General Electric model, not willing and not capable. So you try to train the employee, and mostly at the end you get rid of this employee. If this employee is capable but not willing, so you motivate. Then if this employee is not capable but willing, you coach. And if this employee is willing and capable, so you delegate. This is why in the 90s and in the beginning of the year 2000s, we used to hear a lot of ex-GE. Quarter of the GE employees, they used to get rid of them each year. Then the team dynamics, group behaviors, identify and use various conflict resolution techniques, coaching, mentoring, intervention to overcome negative group dynamics, including dominant and reluctant participants, groupthink, rushing to finish, and digression. So when a negative team dynamics exist, members may be overbearing, dominant, reluctant participants, accepting of opinions as facts without question, fighting, stuck in groupthink, floundering, troubled over the issues of attribution, quick to discount other thinking, ready to digress and go off on tangents. So match each description of team behavior to the appropriate team stage. So team dynamics, when overbearing, what solution you're doing, what is the choice?
What are we trying to match these two?
What you are trying to match is the negative attitude to the solution.
So I guess for overbearing, I would do two, encourage equal participation, talk to parties privately, promote active listening.
Mm-hmm. Then? So you want to put this one in one?
Yeah. Maybe reinforce team concepts should be number 2.
Okay.
review purpose of team should be 3, and then ask for backup data should be 4. That's my opinion.
Okay. Any other ideas? Let's see the right answer and then discuss it again. So the right answer, this is 4, 3, 1, and 2. Let's discuss them. For the overbearing, you will reinforce the team concepts and ask the expert to lead, right? Makes sense? For floundering, you review the purpose of team, ask the team for input and on how to proceed. For discount or put downs, you will encourage equal participation, talk to parties privately, promote active listening. And for unquestioned acceptance of opinion as facts, you ask for backup data and question assumptions. So this makes sense?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, next we will go to meeting management. Select and use various meeting management techniques, including using agendas, starting on time, requiring pre-work by attendees, and ensuring that the right people and resources are available. So time management for teams, create agenda and schedule meetings. Do not conduct a meeting without agenda. Ensure each team member and invited guest learns of meetings. Meeting cancellation, get learns of meeting cancellation or change in venue. Publish meeting minutes soon after the meeting. Include action items. List action items with team members' responsibility and due dates. Include agenda for next meeting. Allow meeting time to plan agenda for next meeting. Allow meeting time to evaluate meeting. Publish periodic progress reports to communicate project status. Team meetings maximize value using Spacer. So Spacer is safety, purpose, agenda, code of conduct, expectations, roles, responsibility, and review. Team decision-making tools. Define, select, and use various tools like concessioners, nominal group technique, multi-voting for decision-making. Consensus brainstorming, nominal group technique, multi-voting, force field analysis. Consensus decision-making include as many participants as possible in this discussion. Allow all participants a chance to contribute to the discussion. Make a concerted attempt to reach full agreement. However, the goal is to reach as much agreement as possible. Encourage participants to keep the good of the whole group in mind. The brainstorming have 5 rules of brainstorming. Stress quantity over quality. Encourage freewheeling. Suspend judgment. Ignore seniority. Scribe each brainstorm without editing and check scribing with brainstorming. In brainstorming organizational behavior, 5th edition by Robert Kreiser and Angelo Kenicky. So these 5 rules is from this book. The guidelines, all ideas are acceptable. Remember, brainstorming, you are doing brainstorming from something not common. So all ideas are acceptable. If it's common, so no need for brainstorming. Piggyback on each other's idea. Do not evaluate, clarify, question, or modify ideas while ideas are being generated. Facilitator should remain neutral and not have a stake in the outcome. In this time, collect all the ideas. The main thing, let them write their ideas on sticky notes. So mostly team members will be shy to demonstrate their ideas. So it's better for them to write on small papers and then provide. You collect all the ideas and at the end discuss them or change them. You can modify ideas at the end when you are deciding. This is a good idea, but we can adjust it this way. But at the collecting, better than listening to them, better is to collect them on papers. Nominal group techniques conducted after formal brainstorming. Make the selection. Give each member 4 to 8 3x5 cards, 4 cards for 20 items, 6 cards for 26 to 35 items, and 8 cards for 36 to 50 items. Members select items from the brainstorm list. Each item is identified on one card, and the item is ranked. Lowest is 1 and the highest number of the cards. Cards are selected and votes are tallied. If members agree, proceed to next step. If members disagree, focus on items that received the highest scores. Then the force field analysis. Briefly describe current situation. Briefly describe desired situation. Identify forces that are driving change to desired state. Identify the forces that are resisting that change to desired state. Determine which resisting forces can be reduced or eliminated so the desired state is reached. Discuss which forces are most critical. For the critical restraining forces, list possible actions to proceed to reduce effect. For critical driving forces, list possible actions to increase effect. Develop action plan to implement possible actions. Now, this is activity. This is a situation. Identify the force fields for this situation. List the driving forces. List the resisting forces. Determine how the resisting forces can be reduced or eliminated so you can achieve the desired state.
So I did a quick one.
Start the briefing.
So for the driving forces, I like to eat. Resisting forces, I am lazy. And determining how the resisting forces can be reduced or eliminated so you can achieve your desired goals. State small goals and hold yourself accountable. I don't know if that was as simple as it was supposed to be, but yeah.
Yeah, it's very simple, but it's
okay.
Okay, the next. Who's next?
Okay, I mean, I can go. So the driving forces are like those would be health concerns. Resisting forces will be lifestyle. So, like Greg said, being lazy or eating too much or eating bad things, like things that are exceptionally bad for you, and then how you can reduce or eliminate the resisting forces would be either like hiring a personal trainer or a dietitian or something like that.
Next.
This isn't relevant in our workspace, but a potential driving force is like free food in the office, and then a resisting force. I'm sorry. The driving force could be like convenience and seeking convenience for food, and then the free food in the office, and then how to determine how the resisting forces can be eliminated. Just bringing your own healthy snacks so that you're not tempted by the snacks in the office.
Okay. Next.
So I'll go the same thing with just Jen just mentioned. So I used to work for Bloomberg, and one of the driving forces, they used to have free food, snacks all day long. So you can literally just go pick it up whatever you want, and that was the resistant forces. How to not go upstairs, and that was that was the hardest part. Not to go upstairs because I just couldn't resist anymore. You know, like a kid going to a candy store. You literally had all kinds of food, and it was impossible to. It was impossible to not to turn around and not to grab something.
Yeah, I have the same experience. I've been working for food manufacturing company before, where food is free all the time. So
it's the worst.
Yeah. I used to work for a company that makes food for flights. So all the time we have the first class food on the cafeteria of the company. So yeah, I know what you're saying. Okay, so the force field analysis is something you can applicable in every situation in your life. Then the team training. We will finish this team training and take a 10 minutes coffee break and then continue. My goal mainly is to start the remake tomorrow. Okay, so team training, we do needs assessment, identify the steps involved in implementing an effective training curriculum, identify skills, gaps, develop learning objectives, prepare a training plan, and develop the training material. Your organization, why do you do a needs assessment? The organization will want to do a needs assessment to determine the current level of performance, to determine course prerequisites, to determine the behavior of the trainees at the start of the training, to use it as a mechanism to involve management, to understand what material should be developed and how it should be constructed. The process of the training needs assessment is to identify the objectives and expectations of the course, document the activities that are required of the employee, describe the required workplace behaviors, list the competencies needed by the employees to produce the behavior, identify the gaps between current performance and what is needed, design the course material to give the trainee appropriate knowledge, skills, and attitude. So the iceberg model of the KSA, the knowledge, skills, and the attitude. The skill is the top of the pyramid or the top of the iceberg, while the knowledge and attitude is the biggest part. So if you provide the knowledge and attitudes, the skill will arise. You know why they select the iceberg? What you see of the iceberg is a reflective of what is under the sea or under the surface. So whatever under the surface increase, what you see on top start floating floating more. So the more the knowledge and attitude improve, the skill will arise more. Data collection methods is the survey, simulated exercises, audits of the system and tasks, on-the-job observation, and records and other evidences. The delivery describe various techniques used to deliver effective training, including adult learning theory, soft skills, and modes of learning. So method of training and learning, on-the-job training, professional society meetings, seminars and webinars, formal courses like universities and colleges, correspondence and courses, simulations and role playing, written materials, mentoring or coaching, lecture, and blended. Adult learning theory, in general, learners learn best when they are ready for learning. They can learn by doing and have appropriate feedback. So adults need to know why. Adults in learning is different than kids in school. Kids in school have no clue and they don't ask why. They just receive whatever you are saying. But adults needs to know why. Adults are internally motivated. They are already on work. They are motivated by visions they have. They want to get promoted. They want to get different jobs in the future. They want to get some kind of experience. So adults are internally motivated. Adults bring life experience and knowledge to learning experiences that beginners don't have. Adults are goal oriented. Adults are relevancy oriented, so don't waste their time. Adults are practical, so minimize theory. Adult learners like to be respected. Adults may lack self-confidence for learning. The information retention, I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, I do, I understand. Confucius. So people will retain little of what they only see, more if they see and hear, most if they see, hear, and do. The evaluation of the training, so describes the various technique to evaluate training, including evaluation planning, feedback surveys, pre-training and post-training testing. So 4 levels of learning evaluation. Reaction, try for 100% response, encourage comment. Learning, develop tests to measure knowledge, attitude, and skill increases. Behavior, measure before versus after, allow time for behavior to change. Results, consider training costs versus benefits, need time for results to occur. This is the 4 steps of liked it, learned it, used it, and produced ROI. Evaluation consideration. What was the reaction to the training? Would the participants recommend the course to colleagues? Was the material appropriate for the desired outcomes? Was the length of the course appropriate? Did the instructor communicate clearly and effectively? Demographics to aid the analysis. How prepared were the participants coming into the training? What was the knowledge level before the training? Did the participants attend all of the training? And was the training required or voluntary? Okay, now we finished this module.